to our Bible meditation. This reading is for February 3rd, 2024. We're reading Numbers 16, 17, 18, and 19.
And we're reading from the New King James Version. Number 16, rebellion against Moses and Aaron. Now Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, with Dathan, Abiram, the son of Elab, the son of Peleg, son of Reuben, took men, and they rose up before Moses with some of the children of Israel, 250 leaders of the congregation, representatives of the congregation, men of renown. They gathered together against Moses and Aaron and said to them, "You take too much upon yourselves, for all the congregation is holy, every one of them, and the Lord is among them. Why then do you exalt yourself above the assembly of the Lord?" So when Moses heard it, he fell on his face, and he spoke to Korah, and all his company said, "Tomorrow morning the Lord will show you who is his and who is holy, and will cause him to come near to you. The one whom he chooses, he will cause to come near you. Do this."
Not him. No, you. This is say you? Okay. Yeah.
What?
That's okay. Never mind.
"Do this, take censers, Korah and all your company, put fire in them, put incense in them before the Lord tomorrow, and it shall be that the man whom the Lord chooses is the Holy One. You take too much upon yourselves, you sons of Levi." Then Moses said to Korah, "Hear now, you sons of Levi, is it a small thing to you that the Lord of Israel has separated you from the congregation of Israel to bring you near to himself, to do the work of the tabernacle of the Lord, and to stand before the congregation to serve them, and that he has brought you near to himself, you and all your brethren, the sons of Levi, with you? And are you seeking the priesthood also? Therefore, you and all your company are gathered together against the Lord. And what is Aaron that you complain against him?" And so Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, sons of Elab, but they said, "We will not come up. Is it a small thing that you have brought us up out of a land flowing with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness, that you should keep acting like a prince over us? Moreover, you have not brought us into a land flowing with milk and honey, nor given us inheritance of fields and vineyards. Will you put out the eyes of these men? We will not come up." Then Moses was very angry and said to the Lord, "Do not respect their offering. I have not taken one donkey from them, nor have I hurt one of them." And Moses said to Korah, "Tomorrow you and all your company be present before the Lord, you and they as well as Aaron. Let each take his censer and put incense into it. Each of you bring his censer before the Lord, 250 censers, both you and Aaron with his censer." So each man took his censer, put fire in it, laid incense on it, and stood at the door of the tabernacle, meeting with Moses and Aaron. And Korah gathered all the congregation against them at the door of the tabernacle meeting. Then the glory of the Lord appeared to all the congregation. And the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, "Separate yourself from this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment." Then they all fell on their faces and said, "O God, the God of spirits of all flesh, shall one man sin and you be angry with the whole congregation?" So the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the congregation, saying, get away from the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram." Then Moses rose, went to Dathan, Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. And he spoke to the congregation, saying, Depart now from the tents of these wicked men. Touch nothing of theirs, lest you be consumed in all their sins. So they got away from around the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. And Dathan and Abiram came out and stood at the door of their tents with their wives, their sons, and their little children. And Moses said, By this you shall know the Lord has sent me to do all the works, for I have not done them of my own free will. If these men die naturally, like all men, or if they are visited by the common faith of all men, then the Lord has not sent me. But if the Lord creates a new thing, and the earth opens its mouth and swallows them up with all that belongs to them, then they go down alive into the pit. But you will understand that these men had rejected the Lord. Now it came to pass, as he finished speaking all these words, the ground split apart underneath them, the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up with their household, all the men of Korah and their goods. So they and all those with them went down alive into the pit, and the earth closed over them. They perished from among the assembly. Then all Israel were around them fled at their cry, for they said, Lest the earth swallow us up also. And a fire came from the Lord and consumed 250 men who were offering incense. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, Tell Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, to pick up the censers out of the blaze, for they are holy, and scatter the fire some distance away. The censers of these men who sinned against their own soul, let them be made into hammered plates for a covering of the altar, because they presented them before the Lord. Therefore they are holy, and they shall be a sign to the children of Israel. So Eleazar the priest took the bronze censers which were burned up and had presented, and they hammered out as a covering on the altar, to be a memorial to the children of Israel, that no outsider who's not a descendant of Aaron should come near to offer incense for the Lord, that he might not become like Korah and his companions, just as the Lord said through him, through Moses. Complaints of the people. On the next day, all the congregation of the children of Israel complained against Moses and Aaron, saying, You have killed the people of the Lord. Now it's happened, when the congregation had gathered against Moses and Aaron, that they turned toward the tabernacle of meeting, and suddenly the cloud covered it. The glory of the Lord appeared. Then Moses and Aaron came before the tabernacle meeting, and the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Get away from this among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment. And they fell on their faces. So Moses said to Aaron, Take a censer and put a fire in from the altar, put an incense on it, and take it quickly to the congregation and make atonement for them. For the wrath has gone out from the Lord, the plague has begun. Then Aaron took it as Moses commanded, ran in the midst of the assembly. Already the plague had begun among the people. So he put the incense and made atonement for the people, and he stood between the dead and the living, so the plague was stopped. Now those who died in the plague were 14,700, besides those who died in the Korah incident. So Aaron returned to Moses at the door of the tabernacle, for the plague had stopped.
Numbers 17. The budding of Aaron's rod. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and get from them a rod from each father's house, all their leaders according to their father's houses. 12 rods, write each man's name on his rod. And you shall write Aaron's name on the rod of Levi, for there shall be one rod for the head of each father's house. Then you shall place them in the tabernacle of meeting before the testimony, where I meet with you. And it shall be that the rod of the man whom I choose will blossom. Thus I will rid myself of the complaints of the children of Israel. which they make against you. So Moses spoke to the children of Israel, and each of the leaders gave them a rod apiece, for each leader according to their fathers' houses, 12 rods, and the rod of Aaron was among their rods. And Moses placed the rods before the Lord in the tabernacle of witness. Now it came to pass on the next day that Moses went into the tabernacle of witness, and behold, the rod of Aaron of the house of Levi had sprouted and put forth buds, had produced blossoms, and yielded ripe almonds. Then Moses brought it out all the rods from before the Lord to all the children of Israel, and they looked, and each man took his rod. And the Lord said to Moses, Bring Aaron's rod back before the testimony, to be kept as a sign against the rebels, that you may put their complaints away from me, lest they die. Thus did Moses, just as the Lord had commanded him, so he did. So the children of Israel spoke to Moses, saying, Surely we die, we perish, we all perish. Whoever that even comes near the tabernacle of the Lord must die. Shall we all utterly die?
Numbers 18, duties of the priests and Levites. Then the Lord said to Aaron, You and your sons and your father's house with you shall bear the iniquity related to the sanctuary. You and your sons with you shall bear the iniquity associated with your priesthood. Also bring with you your brethren of the tribe of Levi, the tribe of your father, that they may be joined with you and serve you while you and your sons are with you before the tabernacle of witness. They shall attend to your needs and all the needs of the tabernacle, but they shall not come near the articles of the sanctuary and the altar, lest they die, they and you also. They shall be joined with you and attend to the needs of the tabernacle meeting for all the work of the tabernacle, but an outsider shall not come near you. And you shall attend to the duties of the sanctuary and the duties of the altar, that there may be no more wrath on your children of Israel. Behold, I myself have taken your brethren, the Levite, from among the children of Israel. They are a gift to you given by the Lord to do the work of the tabernacle of meeting. Therefore you and your sons shall attend to your priesthood for everything at the altar and behind the veil, and you shall serve. I give your priesthood to you as a gift for service, but the outsider who comes there shall be put to death. Offerings for support of the priest. And the Lord spoke to Aaron, Here I myself have also given you charge of my heave offerings, all the holy gifts of the children of Israel. I have given them as a portion to you and your sons as an ordinance forever. This shall be yours of the most high holy things, reserved from the fire, every offering of theirs, every grain offering, every sin offering, and every trespass offering, which they render to me, shall be most holy for you and your sons. In a holy place you shall eat it. Every male shall eat it, shall be holy to you. This also is yours, the heave offering of their gift, with all the wave offering of the children of Israel. I have given them to you and your sons and your daughters, with you as an ordinance forever. Everyone who is clean in your house may eat it. All the best of the oil, all the best of the new wine, the grain, the first fruit, which they offer to the Lord, I have given to them. Whatever first ripe fruit is in your land, they shall bring to the Lord. It shall be yours. Everyone who is clean in your house may eat it. Every devoted thing in Israel shall be yours. Everything that first opens the womb of all flesh, they shall bring to the Lord, where man or beast shall be yours. Nevertheless, the firstborn of men you shall surely redeem, and the firstborn of the unclean animals you shall redeem. All those redeemed of the devoted things you shall redeem when 1 month old, according to your valuation, for 5 shekels of silver, according to the shekel of the sanctuary, which is 20 gerahs. But the firstborn of the cow, the firstborn of the sheep, firstborn of goat, you shall not redeem. They are holy. You shall sprinkle the blood on the altar and burn their fat as an offering made by the fire for a sweet aroma to the Lord. And their flesh shall be yours, just as the wave breast and the right thighs are yours. All these heave offerings of all the holy things which your children of Israel offer to the Lord, I have given to you, your sons and daughters, with you as an ordinance forever. It's a covenant of salt forever before the Lord, with you and your descendants with you. Then the Lord said to Aaron, you shall have no inheritance in their land, nor shall you have any portion among them. I am your portion and your inheritance among the children of Israel. Tithes for support of the Levites. Behold, I have given the children of Levi all the tithes in Israel as an inheritance in return for the work which they perform, the work of the tabernacle of meeting. Hereafter the children of Israel shall not come near the tabernacle of meeting, lest they sin and die. But the Levites shall perform the work of the tabernacle of the meeting, and they shall bear the iniquity. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generation, that among the children of Israel they shall have no inheritance. For the tithes of the children of Israel, which they offer up as a heave offering to the Lord, I have given to the Levites as an inheritance. Therefore I said to them, among the children of Israel they shall have no inheritance. The tithes of the Levites. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak thus to the Levites, and say to them, when you take from the children of Israel the tithes which I have given you from them as your inheritance, then you shall offer up a heave offering of it to the Lord, a tenth of the tithe. And your heave offering shall be reckoned to you as though it were the grain of the threshing floor, as the fullness of the winepress. Thus you shall offer also a heave offering to the Lord from all your tithes, which you shall receive from the children of Israel, and you shall give the Lord's heave offering from it to Aaron the priest. Of all your gifts you shall offer up every heave offering due to the Lord, from all the best of them, the consecrated part of them. Therefore you shall say to them, when you lifted up the best of them, that the rest shall be accounted to the Levi as the produce of threshing floor and the produce of the winepress. You may eat it any place, you and your household, for it's your reward for your work in the tabernacle of meeting. And you shall bear no sin because of it when you have lifted up the best of it, but you shall not profane the holy gifts of the children of Israel, lest you die.
Numbers 19, Laws of Purification. Now the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, this is the ordinance of the law which the Lord has commanded, saying, speak to the children of Israel that they bring you a red heifer without blemish, in which there is no defect, and on which a yoke has never come. You shall give it to Eleazar the priest, that he may take it outside the camp, and it shall be slaughtered before him. And Eleazar the priest shall take some of its blood with his finger, and sprinkle some of its blood 7 times directly in front of the tabernacle of meeting. Then the heifer shall be burned in his sight. Its hide, its flesh, its blood, and its offal shall be burned. And the priest shall take cedar wood and hyssop and scarlet, and cast them into the midst of the fire, burning the heifer. Then the priest shall wash his clothes, he shall bathe in water, and afterward he shall come into the camp. The priest shall be unclean until evening. And the one who burns it shall wash his clothes in water, bathe in water, and shall be unclean until evening. Then a man who is clean shall gather up the ashes of the heifer, and store them outside the camp in a clean place, and they shall be kept for the congregation of the children of Israel, for the water of purification. It is for the purifying from sin. And the one who gathers the ashes of the heifer shall wash his clothes and be unclean until evening. It shall be a statute forever to the children of Israel, and to the stranger who dwells among them. He who touches the dead body of anyone shall be unclean 7 days. He shall purify himself with the water on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day, then he will be clean. But if he does not purify himself on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day, he will not be clean. Whoever touches the body of anyone who has died, and does not purify himself, defiles the tabernacle of the Lord. That person shall be cut off from Israel. He shall be unclean, because the water of purification was not sprinkled on him. His uncleanness is still on him. This is the law when a man dies in a tent. All who come into the tent and all who are in the tent shall be unclean 7 days. And every open vessel which has no cover fastened on it is unclean. Whoever in the open field touches one who is slain by a sword, or who has died, or a bone of a man, or a grave, shall be unclean 7 days. And for an unclean person they shall take some of the ashes of the heifer, burnt for purification from sin, and running water shall be put on them in a vessel. A clean person shall take hyssop and dip it in water, sprinkle it on the tent, on all the vessels, on the persons who were there, or on the one who touched a bone, the slain, the dead, or a grave. The clean person shall sprinkle the unclean on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day. And on the 7th day he shall purify himself, wash his clothes, and bathe in water, and at evening he shall be clean. But the man who is unclean and does not purify himself, that person shall be cut off from among assembly, because he has defiled the sanctuary of the Lord. The water of purification has not been sprinkled on him. He is unclean. It shall be a perpetual statute for them. He who sprinkles the water of purification shall wash his clothes, and he who touches the water of purification shall be unclean until evening. Whatever the unclean person touches shall be unclean, and the person who touches it shall be unclean until evening.
Wow. So,
Why do you think God said if you touch something dead, you're unclean?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. But he said so.
That might be something we could bring up at the Bible studies.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to dig deeper into that.
Yeah. So, that concludes the reading for the day. Read your scriptures, pray without ceasing, and go to church tomorrow.
Amen. Be blessed.